Hello and welcome to Feminine Success Secrets, the place women come to become powerfully feminine. I'm Candice Oneida. Today I want to answer a question by a subscriber. Dodo Shaheen writes, I love your videos. I'm a new subscriber. I stumbled across your channel while I was trying to learn more about femininity. Her question is, I have a problem which is I can't commit in a relationship because after a while it becomes boring and I don't feel the rush or attraction. Could you please advise how to stay feminine and stay in a relationship? Love you so much. It's funny, Dodo, because your question, how to stay feminine and stay in relationship, is the answer in that if you want the relationship to work, you need to get into your feminine. The relationship is probably not working because of the habit of taking charge, taking control, leading, not allowing the man's masculine to come forward. So one of the things in my mission that I've been really intent on doing is I had so many women that would come to me and say something like, but how can I be in my feminine? You know, he's not leading and he's not doing what he should do and I'm not feeling met and my needs aren't being met. It's like, whoa, sister. Oh, take a breath. What if by understanding that in your feminine power, the more you get into your feminine polarity, the more you get into your feminine orientation, you lead through receptivity. Let me repeat that. When we get into our feminine, we create a space, a vessel, if you like, a container into which a man's masculine can be invited, into which a man can pour his leadership, pour his beautiful masculine power and energy into you. Now, I was a woman that definitely would do this thing where if the man was not manning up, leading, making decisions, making me feel safe, feeling protected and all that kind of thing, my masculine would just come on in and take charge. And there's two issues here. I was previously in relationships with men who didn't know how to do that. And so because I did, because of my training and I'm a strong woman, I would take the masculine pole. So if they already don't own that pole and I come in and take it, there's no room for them to be able to learn how to do that. So that's one issue. The second is if you're more in a dating or a new relationship scenario situation, you're attracting the wrong kind of man. So Dodo, you may be in a situation where that's what happened. And so I made another video. I'll put a link up here, which was about why being in your masculine won't work in relationships. And it's because when we're in our masculine as women, there's no space for his. There's no space for the man's masculine to thrive and flourish. And if it is that you actually want a very strong man, a man who is strongly in his masculine and not strongly in his feminine, then I would suggest that you learn how to be in your feminine. Now, I think the thing is, one of the things that we end up having to deconstruct as women is that we've been taught through our lives and through society and through all sorts of levels of education, we could even say thousands of years of masculine power being dominant, that the feminine is weak, is lesser than, is secondary somehow. Now, whether I'm putting words to something that has gone on in the background of your head and justified why you've gone into your masculine to be powerful and strong and to take charge and control and to get shit done, then this is exactly why I'm here. We're here to deconstruct the foundational beliefs that have actually made us go into man mode, be in our masculine, exert ourselves through that lens of being powerful and successful. I'm here to show you that the feminine is equally as powerful. You can be equally as successful. You can, in fact, the point I'm making here is you can get more of what you want by learning to be in your feminine power. And when I say learn, really, of course, I'm saying relearn, because as a woman in a woman's body, all the know-how is inside of us. And so I'm here to teach you how to tease it out, how to bring it out of you in order that you can start to experientially embody what it feels like to be feminine, what it feels like to be in something more fluid, more circular, something less directional and forward moving, something that's more in the orientation of being and receiving rather than that of constantly doing and acting. Learning how to be in the orientation of surrender and letting go versus taking control and holding the reins all of the time. Any of that sound familiar? So when, Dodo, you're asking the question about how can I stay in relationship and stay in my feminine, well, if you're wanting to really know what it means to be feminine, then I would insist that you try and you learn the skills of feminine power and then see if it turns things around in your existing relationship. Or you may just find that that person doesn't have a strong masculine pole and doesn't know how to exert that sense of polarity. Now, I often do this thing with my hands where I'm talking about masculine, feminine polarity as this thing that does this, and it's a good thing. When I do that gesture, it's because I remember in biology when I was a kid in high school that when you'd watch cell division underneath the microscope, you'd see when the sperm fertilized the ovum, you'd see this thing where the cell division would happen and then two cells would go bam. And it's like underneath the microscope, I was going, wow, that's life. I can see life happening. And then they come back together and they do their thing, and then four cells would separate. It was like seeing the force of life and the beautiful power of polarity underneath the microscope. And this is actually what we're wanting to create in a relationship dynamic. We want strong polarity. Now, this video is not so much about when you swap polarity, because some relationships, they can swap between masculine and feminine a bit. That can happen, but whether you're straight or gay, I have noticed that gay couples always take a pole, and it's beautiful that there's a strong masculine and feminine pole, whether you're gay or lesbian couple. Now, the reason for this is it's a law of nature behind this. There's something that's beautiful in the person that brings the masculine strongly in the relationship and the person that brings the feminine strongly in the relationship. As in, for me, I seek to be more in my feminine in my life in general, but definitely in my relationship. And the more I've learned how to do that, well, at the moment, I've attracted incredibly masculine man, incredibly masculine, so in his masculine polarity. And so then it becomes even easier for me to be in my feminine because he's come forth in his beautiful masculine. Oh, I can let go and sink into his masculine. It encourages my feminine forward. And then we have this beautiful circle of encouraging each other's masculine and feminine to be in the relationship. And then what happens is this co-creative dynamic back to the under the microscope image, right? There's this beautiful sense of creation, of life going on, right? I'm not talking about necessarily having to co-create as in be in business with each other or something, but there's a vibrancy in the dynamic in a relationship when there's a strong masculine and feminine pole being held by the two individuals. So I would love you to put a comment below on any challenges or experiences that you are having with regard to you being in your feminine polarity in the relationship or even in a dating scenario. If you liked the video today, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to subscribe over here as I publish every single Sunday. And remember, when you have the courage to go out there and shine, you give others permission to do the same. So let's go out there and shine this week. Bye-bye for now.